Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Kat, or Catherine, and I'm a knitter based in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom. This has been my little space on the internet where I have documented my knitting journey from day one through to now, where I've used this space to connect with many knitters from across the world and document the happenings of the happenings. I don't know why it gets more difficult. I just try and say what I think I should feel like saying each time and it comes out differently. Anyway, I have a lovely Ethiopian coffee this morning. I decided to brew it using an AeroPress, which is not that different from me, but I don't often do an AeroPress method at the moment. So it's quite nice to come back to it, spend some time with the boring kettle and play with grinds. If you're interested in coffee, you'll know that it can get quite geeky and quite exciting. This was a gift from lovely Becky Nugget for Alex for his happy birthday, and it's making me very happy too. Today I'm wearing my Braids of Grass jumper, which I absolutely love. It's a pattern by Albion or LB Hand Knits. It has this beautiful cuff detail and hem detail. I'm wearing it tucked into some culottes today, and I've actually got the sleeves rolled up because it's starting to thaw. It's starting to get a bit warm here, which means that the indoor temperature's gone up to a whopping 18 degrees, which is a lot warmer than it has been. So while I am only wearing this and a Jessie May little bralette under it, I'm actually really quite warm today, which is lovely. Anyway, wow, lots to say. This was also knitted in U and Ply's Shropshire DK in the Middle Earth colourway. I spoke about it a bit more in my last episode, and I'm really happy with this. I'm really excited to be able to just wear it and have it as part of my wardrobe. First and foremost, I guess I wanted to share that my Spring Intentions wrap. So if you haven't been here at all and you're new here, welcome. If you've been here a while, you might have seen my Spring Intentions wrap. This was the original version. I knitted this in yarn that I dyed myself using plant matter from one of my favourite places on the planet. And I knit this in a very different way to what I have been knitting, and it felt so good and right that I reached out to Alice of Whistlebare and we collaborated. And Alice has released kits, so you will get a little bag. There is pictures of the little bags on her page as well as mine, and Alice will allow you to choose any colours that you would like for the wrap, which is pretty cool. Not many yarn companies can really cater to that. Lovely Tess will be winding many skeins of yarn, potentially, if anyone wants to join in. Yeah, so Alice has kits that... Hey Audrey, Audrey's the in-house kitten. You gonna come up and say hi? I'll pick her up, but she won't stick around. Well, she might. No, she won't. So Alice, just kitten distraction, the only distraction really that gets me, has kits that will have the pattern, yarn and a little project bag, and I have on my Etsy just the project bag and pattern, and on my Ravelry just the pattern. And I've tried to make it as inclusive as I can. I know that with, I don't really want to say the word on here, but with us leaving the EU, it's making it a lot difficult for people, but the yarn that I chose was specifically at a more friendly price point than a lot of other yarns for the quality, which I think is quite cool. And the pattern has a few different price points on it, and if you purchase the yarn, the pattern and bag is essentially free. I am very lucky. I will still get paid from Alice, but we've just managed to make it so that it works for everyone, which I think is really cool. Anyway, this is a pattern that comes with some practices, a little bit of connection with other knitters, and I'm really excited to share it with you, and I don't want to say too much more on it because I love it. If you're interested, have a little look, and if you're not, thank you for being here anyway. We will start talking about some other knitting now. Yeah, I do have a finished object, which is kind of exciting and strange to me because this is so good, I don't want to let it go cold. I cast this on as a gift, and I anticipated it taking me multiple evenings, dipping in and out, and oh, Audrey, that tripod's not for you. Do you want me to put, if I put this up there, you might sit up on your, do you want to come up? What's this one? Can you come up? You ready? 3, 2, 1. Whoa. How's that? Oh, we playing this game? Kitten interrupted today. Right, anyway, so I cast on a hat with the intention of it lasting a fair few evenings so that I had something that was not just stocking net on my needles. I'm currently doing a nylon-free sock sort of project where I'm hoping to explore different options, different ways of making heels as I go. And I wanted something that wasn't tiny needles, tiny stitches and simply stocking it. I wanted something that provided my hands with a little bit of extra movement, that would hold my interest a little bit more, rather than it being like a moving meditation that required no concentration. It was a, you know, very focused moving meditation. And once I got the rhythm, it actually just went very quickly, and it feels weird to say like it's mine, but so I knitted my own pattern as a gift, and this is the Lockside Tree hat, and I added a few changes because I can't even do my own thing apparently. I used a 2x2 rib, which works for the pattern, and I also added 2 inches of a contrast colour before I knitted the pattern. So this is a really easy modification if you want to do it. I know that I'm I don't have hats covering my ears most of the time. They cover a little bit because I do have hair. I kind of don't really, it provides enough warmth anyway, but this is for someone that has not got a lot of hair. So I thought that this was a good option. I might actually add this minor modification into the pattern and update it. And yeah, really happy with how it turned out. I keep wanting to put it on my head myself. So this is one of my favourite commercial yarns. This is West Yorkshire Spinners Jacob DK. I think this is the light grey colourway. Yes, because this was from my Eastwind jacket, the jacket by Emily Foden from Knits About Winter, and it really doesn't use very much of the contrast colour. This is just wool pantry yarn. I can't quite remember what it is, I'm afraid, but it's a blue. It looked like it was releasing a lot of dye, so I was a bit concerned that this was gonna do some colour changing, but it turned out fine. It didn't do anything. I think that was lucky that I used quite cool water for it. Yeah, kind of fun to me knit because it took a little bit more. 1 second, I'm gonna hit pause while Audrey enjoys some crunchies. I think it's quite important to be, you know, honest. This is today. I've actually had a really lovely day. I've recorded slightly later than I have been, and I think that works out a little bit better. But yes, so this is a great introduction to ladder back jacquard as a technique, which means that you can have long floats between colour wax stitches, and it also uses a cluster stitch. So it's very simple, but takes a little bit more dexterity with the hands and a little thought. Very happy with it. I will probably take a couple of pictures, maybe on Alex's head, to pop on Ravelry, and then we will post it out into the world. I tend to just tie my pom-poms. I haven't trimmed this yet, I just popped it on. It used every last inch of the remaining yarn, but I just tie them inside so that I'm not really a pom-pom gal anymore. But if the recipient doesn't want to have a pom-pom, they can take it off, but they can also, you know, wash the hat with a bit more ease. Not that you couldn't wash a pom-pom, but it's a bit risky for my liking. So yeah, a very unexpectedly quick finished object, which is quite nice because sometimes gift knits go to the recipient a bit slower, and it's a bit of a shame. So my next one is the sock that I shared last week. So this is my Bluebell Yarns sock, and I'm back to my DPNs. I've done a bit more reading, and I'm currently reading This Golden Fleece by Esther Rutter, and I'm very much enjoying it. There's quite a lot of Scotland chat in it, which brings me much joy. And this is, I love these colours. I'm really drawn to these colours again at the moment, and sort of the almost sagey grass green versions of these colours. I am really impressed with this yarn. It is 50% Falkland Corriedale and 50% British mohair, and it's so soft. It's got a gorgeous luster. I mean, me personally, I think even maybe not people that are sensitive, but if you've not got any sensitivities, like, you could definitely do a shawl in this, and the colours. But Rebecca of Bluebell Yarns is lovely. She is committed to non-superwash yarn, and I'm excited to see how this progresses. It's not, as you can see, it's not very far. I'm going to try a few different toes, because this is just a simple wedge toe. I think I need a bit more interest if I'm going to knit more socks, which is strange because I was less drawn to pattern socks initially. But I think if I'm going to do more sock knitting, and it's not just a relaxation knit, it's more of a knitting with intention knit, then I think I'd be happy to get a bit more into different toes, heels, you know, twisted ribs, ribbed socks. I think I'm going to start having to, not have to, but I would like to start being more playful with it. And yeah, that's kind of all I can say on it at the moment. I'm going to do a Eye of Partridge heel on this, and yeah, I'm really excited to see how it comes together, because so far it feels amazing, and it's taking a lot of willpower not to just put my foot in it, and since it's on DPNs, it's not a very good idea. But yeah, and I've just got it in a very old basket that I used to keep sugar in when we were serving coffee from the back of my car, which sounds a little bit less inspiring than it really was. I still have a Morris Minor, and we used to serve tea and coffee from the back of her. She is a 1964 Traveller in a very bold green, and we used to do festivals and weddings and markets and things, and it was really fun. But I get to repurpose this for the moment. It's been handy having something a little bit more sturdy just on the sofa, where next to little Audrey sits. That's all here, yeah, just down there, so that she doesn't tend to knock things off if it's solid, but if it's in a bag, she doesn't mind. She's like, that's fine, it's safe. So today might be a slightly shorter episode, looking at the timing already, which is totally fine. I do have one more project to share, and this, if you've been here for a while, you would have seen. And this one is living in my Duckpool Lane project bag. Again, it's this sort of these colours, along with greys and black, apparently are where I'm heading, which is fine, or where I'm drawn to at the moment. And the project is no exception. I'm using, now I don't have a ball of it and I should pick one out, but this is We Are Knitters, the cotton, the Pima cotton I believe, and it's like a pearly grey blue. It's a lovely colour, and I think it was last year, it might have even been, no, I think it was last year. I knitted a Playsuit, which might be a strange thing for many, but as a knitter I very much enjoy knitting throughout the year. I don't feel like I want to stop in the summer, and I was sort of planning ahead, and I had a little chat with with my friend Dimmy. She reminded me about this project, and it's been in the top drawer where I store my needles and notions for a while, and I often see it, so I have been constantly trying to remind myself that it's there, and I wanted to make some adjustments to it. And then when I had a chat with Dimmy, she reminded me about it, and I was suddenly a bit inspired to take it out. And I think Friday, yes, it was Friday, I decided to get it ready for making changes. So I decided to take quite a bit of it. So this is the top. It's going to be difficult to show you, not on a body. And then here's the back. So I ripped it back up to here, and that was maybe 3 full balls of yarn, or 2. And I was a bit like, oh, okay, do I have any notes? Do I know what needle size I knitted this on? Do I have anything anywhere? And because I had essentially finished it, I knew that I wanted to take it apart, but I also wanted to wear it a little bit last year, so I didn't keep it in a project bag with notes or anything. But luckily I use a book like this every year. This is a slightly different one than I normally use, but I keep all my notes of what I intend on doing day by day, or week by week, with days put in there. And sometimes I put notes in about projects, how many stitches I've cast on, what gauge I've got. Sometimes I email myself notes, sometimes I store notes on my desktop. So I did a little bit of looking on my computer, and then went onto Instagram, scrolled back to when I posted pictures of this, and found my book from that day. And lo and behold, I had some notes, so I knew what needle I cast on with. I had even written what gauge I'd got, double checked. That's still true. I am a little bit concerned that I didn't straighten out the yarn. So it's all wiggly where it's been knitted before, but I'm hoping, this is probably very bad form, but I'm hoping that it will wash out nicely. I made adjustments according to, I saw what I did previously. I completely changed the way the increases happened, and I have bound off one leg. I've given it a little detail up the side, and yeah, so far so good. I've tried it on. The crotch is much more acceptable for wearing outside the house. This yarn, I'm not sure I'd buy it again. For no other reason than I would quite like to experiment with more linen and cotton if I'm going to try it, and I don't think it's organic, and I feel like cotton's one of those things that if you're going to use, and it can be affordable, I haven't looked into it, but I feel like you want as pesticide free as you can get. So I would like to, if I was to ever knit another one, or I would like to try more cotton because I don't have much to compare it with. But it does feel very good. It is going to be not the heaviest, but not the lightest thing in the world. I think they're 100 gram balls, and I think this will probably use 5, so 500 grams, but that's for essentially an entire outfit in the summer. I don't think that's too bad. It does go really nicely with my spring intentions, and I think it will be, yeah, I think it will be worn quite a lot. I wear the top that I kind of base the shape on quite a lot, my Calagaldana top, throughout the year, so I might even wear this layered up in the winter. I don't know, but I'm really enjoying working on it, and I have some yarn. I might show you. No, I'll do it next week, only because by then I should have a project. But I'm really enjoying going back to projects and thinking about things a little bit slower paced than previously I was. So coming back to projects like this, I don't have many of those left now. And making sure that they're working and they're useful in my wardrobe is a really nice way to, you know, still knit and still enjoy knitting whilst not adding to my wardrobe unnecessarily. But there are some beautiful patterns that I would really love to knit, but you know, I'm really trying to take time considering them and checking that, you know, the yarn that I'm going to use will be the best that I've got for each project. I'm so excited to do some more knitting, and I'm going to this afternoon. I'm going to probably work on this afternoon and do a little bit on my sock this evening. I think that's the plan of action. I have a little bit of editing that I would like to do for my Spring Intentions knit along. I have one video left for the guided meditations that I would like to put together. It might be that I do an extra one or two, can't quite decide, but I also want to be intentional with the way this is. I want to give people enough time to practice and things. But all that to say, I am going to do a little bit more knitting this afternoon. I have found that in the last few weeks I've been working a lot and been at the screen a lot, and last week I kind of tried to set not hard and fast boundaries because they don't work for me. I like to be able to be flexible, but I kind of played with the times that I was using social media and checking in and using the screen outside of sort of the work remit, and that was really good for me. So I feel quite a bit better and a bit more confident in spending tomorrow or today at the screen, and then tomorrow having, you know, allowing myself the morning off, and then, so that's been really good for me. I don't know, oversharing, but maybe not. Might inspire you to set some of those sort of boundaries too. Yeah, it is raining quite a lot, but I think I will still get out for a little, even if it's just a 15-20 minute walk. I'll make sure I do that. Yeah, I hope you're finding some peace in this strange time. We are hopefully all starting to see a little bit of the end in sight, even if it's not quite there yet. We are moving forward. I hope that you are well. I hope that you are enjoying some knitting or making time. As always, feel free to share the projects that you're working on, what you are getting up to. It's so good to be able to connect. I'm still super grateful for that, and I don't think that'll be anything that ever vanishes from, you know, from my the forefront of my mind. And also with that, I wanted to say a big thank you to the Ko-Fi supporters. I am hoping to purchase one more skein of yarn, thanks to the lovely support from the Ko-Fi purchases this week. I won't be able to know if I can get hold of that for a couple of weeks, but that's okay. Like, I have plenty of sock yarn to get on with, but I think that will be the final one, and then I've got it ready and I'm going to start connecting patterns to the yarn that I've got left, and I'm so grateful for that. I can't express it enough. So if you have supported, thank you, and if you have any recommendations of sock patterns that you would like to see knitted for any reason or another, I'm happy to listen. And yeah, I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to put in a little bit of footage from our frosty mornings coming up. So with that, I will hope to see you again very soon, and take care of yourself.